Hello, this is Usha Pandit, your Mindsprings English teacher. Today, I've got a very important lesson for you, and it's about writing. Writing remains one of the most wanted skills as far as schools are concerned, and also as far as adults are concerned. So, everybody wants to have tips on writing. Everyone is asking you how to improve my writing. And in schools, it becomes critical because they have got examinations and they've got to write essays and letters, and writing becomes critical for their success. So today we are going to talk about people who want to write but who can't write. So they just can't write. They refuse to write, children. So what do you do with that child? The fault lies also with teachers who give them boring topics to write on. So we must admit that we are at fault, teachers. So if you have something, do something different, you are going to be able to write very soon. You will be able to get better marks and you will find that you enjoy writing. Okay, so it's worth looking at these tips that I am going to give you. So 5 tips for beginners and kids who want to write. So the first tip that I've got there is think of a topic that excites you. Now one of the reasons people don't write is because they are asked to write about something that they either don't know anything about, or they have no interest in, or which does not have any excitement for them. So naturally, if you ask me to write something about oil drilling now, am I going to be excited? No. But if you ask me to write something about that I am passionate about, let us say it's fashion, or let's say it's sport, or let's say it's how to create magic on YouTube, because that's my current passion, then I will be interested, right? I'll be interested to read and I'll be interested to write. So that is your first key, is think of a topic that excites you. Now before I continue, let me tell you, I am going to use, a lot of these tips have been taken from my book, Writing with Ease. Writing with Ease is something that everyone who wants to write should have. So you invest in the book. It's not just got tips on writing, it's got all the genres, it's got how to write every kind of story that you can think of. It's got letters, it's got poetry, it's got Shakespeare, it's got Latinate expressions. There's nothing that this book does not have. It's a book that is going to be used for at least 3 generations in your household. So do not hesitate to invest in this book. So I'm going to read bits and pieces for you from one part here that says, ideas for reluctant writers, people who are not willing to write. What should we do with them? So when you use a topic that excites you, automatically you want to write something, you want to say something. See, if you are eager to say something, let's say there is a child who plays a lot with Lego. If you ask him about Lego, he'll tell you so many things about Lego. Now if I tell him, write 2 sentences for me on your Lego play, he'll be happy to do it because he's writing about Lego, right? He's writing about something that he's passionate about, or about Minecraft, or about aliens, or about sports cars, or about cars. If you're a man and you love cars, then that's what you would enjoy reading and writing about. So that is one thing. Now let's say you can't think of anything, you can't think of a passion. The second thing you can do is to get some prompts. Prompts are basically things that help you. Okay, so what are the things that help you? You've got pictures, you've got cartoons, jokes, photographs, weekend activities. These are just a few that I've given you. The book has a lot more. So when I talk of photographs, for example, I'm talking about albums. Just take your old album and turn it around. You'll find yourself sitting with a bunch of people at a time when you were a young boy or a young girl. Now you will also remember when that photograph was taken. Now if I tell you to write a small paragraph on that, you will be quite happy to do it for me, because it's a story that nobody knows, that only you know, and you will enjoy writing that story. So photo albums are great. Pictures, I can use pictures to describe the people in the picture. You know, the picture is the normal stuff that a lot of examinations give you. Describe the picture or write a story on the picture. So it's a very common one. Cartoons are great because you can tell me why you like the cartoon. See, when you write, when you start writing, if you are this reluctant writer who does not really write a lot, we don't want you to write 1.5 pages. We want you to start writing small little pieces, maybe 4 lines, maybe 3 lines. So a cartoon is good. So I look at a cartoon, I laugh, and then I write why I laughed. What is funny? So I might say that boy looks bizarre. And then I might just write the joke down and say this is what the joke is about. Very small things. Don't be ambitious. Don't try to write 2 pages. Write very, very little. Take jokes. It's the same thing. Our weekend activities. Weekend activities are great. So say you over the weekend you saw something. Maybe you saw a street play, or maybe you went to an exhibition, or maybe you went to the sea or the beach and you saw something interesting. So when I say saw something interesting, what should you be doing? You should be looking out for things that are interesting, because this observation is very important for a writer. So when you sit in a train, don't just sit in the train and rock away. Look around. You will find a young girl who's a bangle seller, who's trying to convince the other person to buy her bangles. You will find a beggar who comes in and who's very clever with the way he begs. You might find a man who looks like he could be someone who pickpockets, but you might later on find out that he wasn't. He was just an ordinary man, and you might feel a little ashamed of yourself for believing that there was something wrong with him because of the way he looked. So there can be many stories if you are sitting in a bus or a train. If you are looking out of your car window also, you will see things. But if you don't look, if you are engrossed in your own thoughts and your own worries, and you say, oh, I have to travel in this stinky train every day, then you will not see anything, and the writer in you will not blossom. Okay? So that's my second one for you. Use prompts, and there are several prompts that I have given you in this book. The third one is to research. So once you find a topic that you want to write on, so let's say you want to write about sailboats, or you want to write about Minecraft, or you want to write about computer games. It can be anything. You must do a little bit of research. Don't imagine that what I know is enough, because it's never enough. And where would you research? Research on YouTube. You will find a small little video. You will find several videos on sailboats. They'll be interesting to see. You can see them all for about 3 minutes and write down 2-3 points on sailboats. When you're writing about it, make sure that you include some of those rare facts on sailboats. Don't write what everybody knows. Write stuff that people don't know, and that is what makes it exciting. Your writing will suddenly have a lot of people who are interested in reading it simply because you put rare facts. You can put rare facts on an animal. You can talk about how zebras are not actually white, but they are black with white stripes. Did you know that? So if you put facts like that, automatically your writing becomes exciting. So research, or you can use your imagination. Let's say I'm looking at another world. I have landed on a planet. What sort of people do I find there? What sort of animals? Are they dangerous? Are they going to attack me? Are they kind? Do they have magical qualities? I've got thousands of questions in my mind. Now, if I just put down those questions and I answer them, I've already got a piece of writing on my hand that is lovely. Most importantly, guys, you must read. Read a couple of imaginative stories. Read a couple of stories about aliens. See some cartoons. See some movies. Enjoy yourself. But always pick out certain points. So it's important to keep a book with you. A little writing journal in which you jot down all kinds of things. Don't show it to anyone if you don't want to. You don't have any word limits. You don't have to worry about your spelling. You don't have to do anything. It's a private thing that you're doing, right? So I don't even want you to show it to anyone if you don't want to. But just start jotting down things every day. So use your imagination, which is already what we have, and therefore we can use it. Make it personal. See, anything personal is interesting because I don't know you, and if you tell me something about you, that becomes interesting. So if you say, do you know that when the gardener snores outside, I get really frightened? Now I have information about you. So do you know the lady next door digs her nose when nobody is looking? Now I've got information that only you know. And those kind of things can be very, very exciting. Or how you feel about your feelings. You can talk about your feelings. So see, I'm giving you so many ideas to write. All you need to do is write 2 lines on each. Not more, 2 lines, 3 lines, and you'll soon become an amazing writer. Okay? So point number 4 is to observe people. There are people all around us, all sorts of people. Watch carefully and find out what they are doing, how do they operate, what are their clothes like, what is their face like, and that's where writing with ease will help you. Because there are words for noses, and there are words for lips, and there are words for cheeks and hair and body builds and all kinds of clothes that you can imagine, and mannerisms of people. Everything you've got in this book. So if you find a man with a scar in your train, you can describe it as a man who had a scar across his nose. You can actually say it. But if you don't have the words, it becomes really hard. So these are some of the things that we do. We observe people. We create a character. Do you know when you write, you're like God, and you can make that character anything that you want. So you can make him into a villain, you can make him a saint, you can make him a person with a flaw, you can make him into someone who's very good but who has a weakness. You can do tons of things with a character. Just create characters, just small characters, and fill your book with characters, right? Then you can invent a phobia. Look at that, invent a phobia. You know what a phobia is? A phobia is being frightened of something. So what's my phobia? My phobia is that I am afraid of cockroaches. That's my phobia. Some people are afraid of rats. Some people are afraid of heights. So it's a phobia. Now you invent a new kind of phobia, something that nobody has heard of, and suddenly it will become exciting. Or a new talent. Maybe some people have very rare talent. So if you actually go on the net and say people with rare talents, you'll be surprised at how much information you get. You've already got material to write a great essay, something that everyone wants to read. Okay? You know, our problem is that we are sticking to essays that our teachers are making us write. Or we are sticking to things that we think we should write because other people are writing it. No! Be creative. Do something completely different, and you'll be surprised at how everyone applauds you. The 5th one that I've got there is write a little every single day. Not a single day you should miss. Write 2 lines, 3 lines, 5 lines, whatever you want. Make little notes, make a small character, put illustrations around it, stick pictures in your diary, do whatever, but do not touch it even for 1 day. In a year, you're looking at 365 entries. Let me tell you, as a writing teacher, a teacher of creative writing, that when students come to me once a week and write every single day, even if I don't correct them a lot, over a period of maybe 20 weeks, they become better writers just because they are writing every week. And I'm telling you to write a little bit every day. So even before you know it, 3 months, 4 months, you'll suddenly become an awesome writer, right? The bonus tip, of course, is that get a copy of Writing with Ease. Do not be without this book, because you will have vocabulary which you don't have right now. You'll get it instantly. So get a copy of that. And the super important tip is to have fun when you do this. Let me just quickly take you through this. It's some of the bits that I might not have told you. So I say decorate it with stickers, illustrations, photos. I told you that. Use simple descriptions. Put on a reporter's cap. Pretend you're a reporter and you start interviewing people. Ask them questions. Interview your friends. Ask them what is it that you're really annoyed about with your mum. Or ask them something like, tell me a time when your cousin really gave you trouble and how you took revenge. Can be anything. If you're a young boy, you're pretty nasty, right? Nothing wrong in that. Everything doesn't have to be goody and good, right? It should be authentic. It should be real. That's more important. So you can do that. You can interview people like your grandfather and ask him, Grandpa, have you ever been hit when you were in school? Did your teachers punish you like that? And Grandpa will have hundreds of stories to tell you. Copy down some of them and that's material. Robots, magic, information on cars and airplanes, book reviews, make a graph of all the restaurants you go to, talk about which is the best dish to eat there, and write a little thing in your journal on where to eat in your locality. That becomes a piece of great writing. And then, or you can do a police docket. So you can look at all the people who need to be behind bars and who are actually hanging around outside, and you can make a police docket on them. You can do a brag story. Talk about how amazing you are at something that's very special. I'm great at cricket. Do you know how many runs I made? The last cricket match. When I grow up, I'm going to be this. You can do that kind of story. Or you can do tall tales. You can imagine that you went up to the stars, you did this, you did that, you can go there. If you're debating, play the devil's advocate. That means say, I think it's a good thing to be a thief. Why is smoking such a bad habit? You might actually start doing a debate from the opposite side and think up of ways why something that is normally considered wrong is actually quite exciting. So that's called playing the devil's advocate. And then you can talk of unusual people, of street processions, of a new gadget. You can design something that only you know how to work. You can write a gratitude journal, by the way. A gratitude journal is telling everyone all the things that you're grateful for on a daily basis, makes you a better person. And then you can write on social causes. What is it that you think should change in the world around you? 2 lines, 3 lines, that's all I ask. And I'm telling you, you will be a fabulous writer in no time. So, I hope you liked this lesson. I hope you follow some of my advice. Put it in that comment box and tell me that you did. Tell me how your marks are going up because you've started writing all over again without anybody's help. And do buy a copy of Writing with Ease. The link is in the description box. Subscribe to my channel because I'll be bringing you more of this stuff. Okay. So till we meet again, keep smiling, keep writing and have fun.